Sailing for the South Seas and the full sails are flying. 100 miles to the line and winds are dying. How long I will be here, I do not know. One thing I'm sure of, winds will blow.
Hi everybody, thanks for stopping by to check out the latest from Sailing Emerald Steel. In this video we're going to be sharing with you why we think it's more important to have a good partner rather than a large boat. And before we get started, we'd like to thank all of you who took the time to leave a comment and a thumb up on our last video. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys.
As most of you know, the very first cruiser was a Joshua Slocum, and he had a very humble boat, 36-footer, Spray. And since then, many people, some were solo sailors, some couples. Most of them, their boats were under 40 feet, like, for example, Pardy's, Hiscox, and Hal Roth with his wife Margaret. Now, Hiscox eventually got themselves a 48-foot, I believe, a steel boat, but their basic wonder was under 40 feet. Now, there were people like a Chichester, which had a 54-foot boat, but it was very specialty designed for a solo sailor for him. So it was not really what you call a cruising boat. Now, as we were cruising in the last 30-some years, we found out that a lot of boats which were smaller, actually people had a very much a good time and they enjoyed themselves. Now, the problem with the bigger boats are several. Now, if you have a lot of money, it really doesn't matter, but a lot of people postpone their cruising because to afford a bigger boat. Now, the problem with a bigger boat is this here. And in most cases, you're not going to be able to handle the boat by yourself, even if you have all the electronics and all the gadgets. So you're going to have to depend on a crew. And believe me, many places when we were sailing, we found a boat where they had to wait because the original crew gave up on it and they had to wait for a new replacement. Sometimes they found people who were there in the cruising grounds already, but a lot of times they had to wait for somebody to fly in, say from the States. So it's a long delays and a lot of troubles. And plus there is a lot of other things. For example, when you have a crew, you have to make sure that they are on the same page as you are. Because some they like to go one place, other one want to go someplace else. Ones want to stop for a longer period, other ones for a shorter period. Some might smoke, some don't, some drink, some don't, some party. You just go on and on and on. So it's a really a problem when you have to pretty much compromise, and sometimes a compromise to the point that your cruising become a hell instead of enjoyable time.
It's important that you have a boat that you can handle or you and your partner can handle above all else. You don't want to have to depend on other people for sure.
Now, here's a story I will relate it to you to kind of get you an idea of what we're talking about it.
And it happened before we were making YouTube videos, so we don't really have any great footage of it, but it's a good story.
I will leave the names out and the locations because I don't want to really crap on somebody's head. But this is exactly what happened. We pulled into a nice anchorage up in the Pacific Northwest.
It was actually in Canada.
We enjoyed the people, we enjoyed the area, the beautiful places for a walk and so on. One day we sat on the deck observing the other cruisers, and here we see a beautiful big yacht. Now I'm talking a nice big yacht.
It was just when it was coming into the harbor, right?
She was just coming into the harbor. He pulled into a dock. There was a couple private owned docks, so he pulled into one location and they tied in, and within a couple hours another one almost as big as his came there and tied to the same dock but opposite direction. Now after a while the first yacht unloaded his dinghy by crane. Now his dinghy was almost the size of our boat. It was maybe 26, 28 foot, kind of roundabout.
It was big.
So anyway, we were just kind of saying to ourselves, man, that these people have a lot of money to be able to run a boat like that. They were American boats. So not much later, they came by our boat, man.
We're circling it.
Yeah, man with his wife. They circle our boat. I'm saying to Susan, so what the hell he wants here? But after a while he stopped and he asked us, hey, we would like to invite you over for a drink. And
you know how sociable we are.
And we very much kind of was thinking, what the hell you wanted from us? So I say, I know we're kind of busy today, we cannot do it. And the guy says,
was
how
weird.
about tomorrow? So I really didn't have much excuses to give it to him. I said, okay, we see him. So we were really surprised. We waited till next day.
We both were thinking we're not going.
We were thinking maybe he's going to forget by then. But no, next day afternoon came by and he says, you know, you invited to come by about 7 o'clock. So I said, okay. So we got in our dinghy. We went to their boat. As we were on the dock meeting them, he introduced us to his neighbor in a big yacht. He was a heart surgeon. And
And his wife was his secretary.
and anyway, the boat was kind of, I mean, I hate to say it, but a lot of makeups, all fixed up, really totally different people than us.
We were just wondering why on earth they wanted.
So anyway, they invited us up on the boat. We went up on the boat, we went upstairs.
3-story.
We went upstairs, we sat down, and here, me, Susan, and a man with his wife, and a doctor with his wife. So as we sit down, they offer our drinks. Susan had a glass of wine. I think I took a glass of wine too, although I don't drink it. I took it just to be polite. They had some hors d'oeuvres there. The man who invited us over, I kind of asked him what kind of business he is in, because his friend says he was a surgeon. So he told me that he was one of the 50 original workers for Microsoft.
Yeah.
So he retired very early, I guess with a good portfolio.
I think he was just like maybe in his 40s, huh?
Yeah, he was still young. So anyway, after about a short time, his wife they had a couple kids with him. After about 20 minutes or so, his wife excused himself that she's got to put the kids to bed. She left.
And she never came back.
She never came back. Poor guy felt so awkward. But anyway, we stayed down there for about an hour and a half.
And they were quizzing us.
And they were saying that
our life.
where you went, how long was, and every time we said where we were cruising for how long, the doctor's wife always says, "Honey, can you imagine to be able to just take off for a year or two, go cruising? Man, that would be unbelievable." And naturally, we didn't say nothing, but we were saying to ourselves, "What the hell? Here you are, multimillionaires with all these big boats and so forth. You can't take a vacation." But anyway, that's how it was. The guy who originally invited us, he said, "Yeah, we're gonna be here 3 days, and Monday we're flying back to Seattle because my wife doesn't want to stay on the boat for more than a week."
Yeah, that was the limit. A week on this boat. It didn't
So-
matter what.
So anyway, after the evening was over, we thanked them. We left.
We forgot to say when the guy was giving us a tour of the boat, he took us into the engine room of this boat, and it was like it was white. It was immaculate. It was like as big as our entire boat.
Had a carpet,
was amazing.
had a white carpet on the floor. It was just
The boat was over the top.
really a yacht.
Yeah.
So anyway, as we left that evening, I come home and I tell to Susan, I said, "I hope he doesn't want to kill his wife and he wants us to be on the boat with our fingerprints on his glasses, to accuse us." Well, we just tried to be funny about it. Anyway, next day
They're back.
he came by with his son
Circling.
and he's circling the boat, and he said, "Thank you for stopping. We had a nice evening," and so forth. I said, "Fine, we had a nice evening too." And as he turned around to go back to his boat, Susan says, "Why didn't you invite him on the boat? Didn't you see he was really want to come up on the boat?" So I said, "Hey," I called him by his name. I said, "Would you like to see the boat?" He said, "Oh, we'd love to." So
The little boy looked at our boat
So
because a
he-
pirate ship. He just
So
wanted to
they
see
came
it.
up on the boat, and little boy was so excited. It's a pirate ship, so we showed him around. He was all excited. Afterwards, a guy gave his email address. He said he'd like to keep touch with us. So anyway, we said goodbye. They went back to their boat. Next day, they left. They flew back to Seattle. The yacht stayed there. So a few months later, I think it was a Christmas time or something, we sent this kind of polite email, then "Merry Christmas, how you guys doing?" And he sent an email back. He says, "My wife decided if she had a bigger boat, she would be much more satisfied with it. So we decided to sell our boat and go to Florida to buy a bigger yacht." So that was the last time we heard from him, because we never responded. We realized we really have nothing in common with the guy, and he was really sad. And the way his wife was treating him, it was kind of really sad. So at that time we were thinking, you know what? When you have a smaller boat and you have a mate, which she's a big help, and she's satisfied with the things you have, it is much more important than have a big boat and have nothing but the problems.
I think the main reason why they were so fascinated with us is because we told them our story, how we built our boat together, how we've been living on the board for so long, and how happy we were. And he could see that we were happy and enjoying ourselves and how we were traveling around the world. And they were just fascinated that somebody would actually do that. That's why they invited us over, because they just couldn't believe it. Just kind of like it was so out of the ordinary.
So actually, I think that while she was on a bigger boat, I think he was on a new wife.
Maybe so. Maybe he wanted to show his wife, like, look at her. She lives on this little boat and she's happy. You can be happy on this boat too. But it didn't work out that way for him.
So anyway, we don't know what's happened afterwards, but this is a story we always felt would be nice to share with you, because you know what, bigger is not always better. Yeah, you might get some compliments from some people, most likely people like yourself who wants to have a bigger boat too, but in reality, a bigger boat, it's much more hassle than it's worth. Now, I'm not talking about bigger boat like 3, 4, 5 feet longer. I'm talking about bigger yachts, kind of where you come into Anchorage, you have a hard time to find a place to anchor,
Right, yeah.
and on and on and on. So anyway, that's
That's
a story.
the story.
Yes.
Here's an example of a young couple that went simple, small, and were having a great time cruising. Yeah, you guys have a good trip. Bye, Tracy.
Hey, Stuart! I got you close, duck kid. Now, Tracy. Yeah.
This young couple on a very modest boat sailed from California to Fiji and were on their way to Australia.
I like a maid who is a help to me and enjoys simple things of life, instead of one who wants a bigger wash machine, bigger boat, and constantly complain.
Looking back after all these years, we're so happy that we didn't wait for a bigger and more luxurious boat. We went simple, but we enjoyed every minute of it. Doing laundry or taking a shower under a tree in a beautiful Tahitian bay wasn't exactly a hardship, but something memories are made of. Okay guys, so I guess that's it for now, and I hope you enjoyed the story and got something out of it. And if you did, please don't forget to leave a comment and a thumb up. And we'd like to once again thank all the people that support our channel through Patreon and PayPal. Thank you so much guys, and we will see you all next time.
Bye-bye.